This is Andy Perot for Boxing Social, and I'm delighted to be joined by promoter Eddie Hearn here at today's workout. Eddie, how you doing?
I'm good. I did about an hour with you guys last night. Do you know what I mean? Every day. You're going to get me every day, aren't you?
Well, you say that now, it's only half an hour, and you walked off for like 3 hours from Rob, so...
That's true. I'll give you that one.
It was a different setting last night. We haven't really seen something like that done before with regards to getting the boxers together. Is that something that you're going to look to do in the future?
I mean, everybody loved it. Obviously, for a fight of this magnitude, you've got a lot of international broadcasters. They were all there last night. The general feeling was it was great. It just sort of warms everybody up for fight week. This is an iconic event, an iconic moment for British sport, for AJ, for us. So I want to make the most of it. That was Monday. Obviously, we're here now. We were supposed to be outside, but it's pouring with rain. And already is a great turnout. It's going to be a big moment when AJ steps in here to do his open workout.
I know AJ spent the last month over here, over in Miami before coming to New York. What's your knowledge of his camp and how he's felt having to train in the States for the first time?
Well, he's obsessed with improving. You know, he always has been. So he's taken a really interesting approach to this camp, where it's more about like. It's a bit complicated, but basically it's not complicated if you think about it. In camps, the kind of ideal is that you work yourself into the ground, right? And he was getting to fight week and he was depleted, right? Like he'd worked for 10 or 11 weeks and he just felt no energy. Like fight week was there to recover, do you know what I mean? But for the Povetkin fight, he got sick and he was so tired on fight week, and they started looking at it, they started analysing it. They've done a lot of work with Under Armour in sort of developmental centres and stuff like this. And now the aim is to obviously work as hard as you can, but try and manage the camp in a way that you have energy going into the fight. So it's a bit boring, but it's worked. So this week you see a different side of him, where normally he'd be like, oh, I just want to sleep, get my energy for the weekend, the camp's over. But now he's out running this morning, he feels really fresh. So we hope that translates into the performance as well.
Given the fact that obviously Deontay Wilder's had to stop Dominic Brazil in one round just a matter of last week, is there a bit more pressure on Anthony to produce a similar type of performance and as devastating a knockout?
I think the pressure is always to win. You know, that's really all that matters, is winning. Do we want him to put in a great performance and look sensational? Then absolutely. And if he does, will his stock go up? Yeah, absolutely. Wilder's did. So, you know, Wilder's performance was sensational and it was like, over to you. Do you know what I mean? So the gauntlet's been laid down for AJ. Is he thinking about putting on a performance? And not really. He wants to win. He wants to win well. But the focus is it's another challenger to defend your belts again and to beat.
If AJ was to produce a similar type of performance to what Deontay did, where would you rank him on the stateside market?
Listen, he's already sold. He will have sold 3 times more tickets on Saturday than Deontay did 2 weeks ago, right? So I don't know what anyone needs to know. He's a massive draw. Yes, there's 7,000 Brits coming, 8,000 Brits, whatever it is. There's still 12,000 Americans coming. That's more than double who bought tickets for Deontay Wilder's fight. So it's not. We give Wilder credit. He's a draw. He's a great fighter. He's a world champion. But he's not Anthony Joshua. But it's all irrelevant, isn't it? Because until they actually want to discuss a deal or even get close to talking about a deal, all these conversations are a waste of time. You know, we just did ESPN and they're like, oh, you know, what we're going to do about Wilder? AJ's like, what do you want me to do? Like, and now we're saying, and this is a good idea from AJ, Wilder, come see me. Do you know what I mean? Talk to me. Tell me what's the problem. Why won't you fight me? But it's so frustrating. It's almost boring that it's just talk, and there never seems to be any progress.
Shelley Finkel's supposed to be here on Saturday. Have you had any dialogue with him since?
I've not had dialogue since a week after the Fury fight when I contacted him to try and make the fight. And then it all went completely quiet. He didn't reply to half a dozen emails and that's it.
I know you've mentioned you want that unification fight first to make the undisputed champion, but in terms of Tyson Fury as well, where does he fit into the plans? Is that would you take that one ahead of Deontay if it was offered?
The 1,000,000% focus is being undisputed champion. Fury is a great fight for Joshua and one he wants as well. If we can't get Wilder, definitely look at Fury. Fury's got to fight Dillian Whyte next after Tom Schwartz.
Is that official?
Yeah, he's been ordered to. I mean, he's been ordered to, and he's accepted it. You know, so we'll start negotiations after their fights, and hopefully we get that done. Joshua against Fury is a must. You know, whether it's next summer, and if we can't get Wilder, we'd love the Fury fight as well. But the only fight that's really on AJ's mind, other than Ruiz, is Wilder.
Now, I went to interview John Fury, Tyson's dad, last week, and he made it pretty simple that you know what they want, 50-50, and that's what they see as being fair.
They don't even want 50-50. They want money. They don't want a split. And how can you give... I don't understand. It's a voluntary defence of 4 World Championship belts. So, and at the end of the day, it's not even up to me. It's up to AJ what the deal is. So, he ain't going to give Fury 50-50. He don't deserve 50-50. He's not a world champion. It's a voluntary defence of his world titles. Is he a star? Absolutely. Is he a good fighter? 100%. But these people, they talk with no knowledge. You have to actually explain the reason behind it. You know, it's not just like, we deserve 50-50. Why? You know.
So John's answer to that would be, because I remember what he said, that Tyson's proved himself fighting Deontay, fought Klitschko 2 years before what AJ did.
Lost all his world titles. Has he proved himself? Yeah, he's proved himself. I don't give a fuck. He's lost all his world titles. He ain't got no world titles. So it's not a case of he deserves 20% or 30%. He was offered 60-40. He turned it down. You're honestly watching this interview thinking that 60-40 is not a fair deal for Tyson Fury. For Joshua defending his world championship belt. Then you're mad. But again, it's another fantasy matchup that people want to talk about. And people will come out and say, yeah, we're trying to do this, and I'll take him, and it's all bullshit. So I'll give you the facts, and the facts are, in life, focus on what you know is happening. And that's Andy Ruiz. And that's the only focus. And then next week, we talk about what's next.
Well, I've just mentioned it, I know we went a bit wayward there, but Andy Ruiz, how has AJ found the adjustment from changing from Jarrell Miller preparations to Andy Ruiz Jr.?
I think that the size is quite similar. Ruiz is 6'2", he's lighter than Miller. The only difference is he's a lot faster than Miller, and his movement's a lot better. Does he have the stamina of Miller? Probably not, but now we've got a reason why Miller's stamina was so good. So it's really about the speed. You know, he's brought in some shorter guys who have good movement, good speed, because that's going to be the biggest threat for AJ in this fight, is the hand speed of Andy Ruiz.
How long can you see the fight lasting? Do you think that Andy Ruiz could take a distance, or do you think he'll naturally tire out as the rounds go on?
No, I think he's deceptively fit. I mean, look, you saw him fight Joseph Parker. Good fight, very close fight. He flew to New Zealand for that fight. He's just come off a fight, so he's been in camp. There's no reason why he shouldn't be able to do 12 rounds unless he gets chinned, which is a very good possibility, because the thing with Andy Ruiz is he will not back down. He will not take a backward step. He will be trying to knock AJ out through the whole fight, which is very dangerous for both of them. So I think you're going to get a great fight. I think you're going to get a fight. I wouldn't be surprised if Josh had to come through some little sticky moments, to be honest. But I expect him to knock Ruiz out.
The card itself has received some criticisms over social media. I know you'd have seen it yourself. What are your thoughts when you've seen that?
I think it's a fucking unbelievable card. I think it's one of the best nights of British boxing I think I've ever seen. I mean, there's people, when you say criticism, on social media, it's the same people. It's the same 40 or 50 people. And what more do you want? You've got an undisputed fight between one of the biggest stars in women's boxing, world boxing, in Katie Taylor against Persoon. You've got the #1 super middleweight in the world, Callum Smith, defending against former world champion Hassan and Dan. You've got Josh Kelly in a massive step up against Ray Robinson. Ray Robinson has just beat the Latvian kid who's top 5 of all the governing bodies. Beat him easy, right? Then you've got Boatsi against Periban. Tommy Coyle against Algieri is a brilliant fight. It's a mental card. But it's the same people who've got nothing better to do but to criticise. So show me a better card than this. When other people put on pay-per-view cards, when they put on the big fights on DAZN, show me the undercards that even compare to this. So, people talk without actually stating facts. Look at, again, I ain't got to tell you, look at all the cards going on, America, England. Tell me better undercards than this. They don't exist.
I think the two fights in particular that fans weren't very happy about was Smith and Dam, knowing and Dam was going to be moving up. He spent the majority of his recent career at middleweight, recently obviously fought Martin Murray, and then Joshua-Ruiz's opponent in Periban hasn't fought for over 2 years himself.
I'm not sure that's right.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, keeping box record.
Let's talk about the Smith fight, right? So Callum Smith just beat George Groves. It's the first defence of his world title. Hassan N'Dam moves up to super middleweight. Just beat Martin Murray. Beat Murata. Fought Lemieux. Fought Quillen. It's a fine defence. Like, people saying, oh, it's like the chef at it's a tutti frutti fight. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Boatsi, nothing wrong with Periban. I mean, Periban, I'm just getting his last fight, was against Yildirim. You're right. So he was due to come back and fight. He went the distance with Yildirim. He went the distance with J. Leon Love. He went the distance with Beaker. He went the distance with Badu Jack. I mean, Boatsi's had, 9 fights? So I'm fine with that fight. And, by the way, he's got a fight planned for July 6th as well. So, but again, I think it's a brilliant card, and you're going to switch off your Champions League. You're going to roll straight into probably Algeri Coil, which is going to be an absolute war, and it's going to be an amazing night.
What is the plan with Callum? Callum's mentioned on previous occasions numerous amount of times that he wants those unification fights. Does his next fight have to be a unification, especially because...
Well, he could have a mandatory. I mean, John Ryder's a mandatory, so that's a fight that we have to look at as well coming up. He wants the Canelo fight really bad. That's a great fight for Callum Smith. So it's just about, for Callum boxing at the Garden, this is, and I think sometimes people forget what a major moment this is for these fighters on this card. Go and talk to them. Do you know what I mean? They're like, they can't believe that they're here. They can't believe they've got this opportunity to fight at the Mecca of boxing.
Just to touch on Saunders Isufi, did you catch a fight?
Yeah, no, I saw the highlights.
What was your thoughts of what you saw?
Billy Joe Saunders is an excellent fighter. Excellent fighter. Going to be really difficult to beat. How Shefat Tutti Frutti fought for a world title is just beyond me. He has never beaten, he hasn't got one good win on his record. He's never fought one world-class fighter. So, what do I think of the fight? Billy done what everyone said, he got wobbled, he was nearly out there. No, he won every round, I believe. Billy's a very good fighter, I'm so disappointed that he didn't fight Andrade, and he didn't take the chance to try and fight Canelo and Golovkin, because if he beat Andrade, he would have had all those fights.
On the back of that fight, at the post-fight press conference, Frank Warren said that he spoke to Joe Gallagher, and he said that they said they wanted to do fights in 2 fights time, but they expect Callum to move up. This comes from Frank Warren's side. Do you expect Callum to make that move up within 2 fights, or...?
He'll move up soon. I think he'll have a couple of defences and he'll try and unify. Whether that's against Billy, we don't rule that fight out. It's not a fight that's necessarily being discussed internally with the team, but he does want to unify, and if that's against Billy Joe, that's definitely a fight that can be looked at in the future.
I know I've got people over my shoulder now, so as always, thanks for speaking to Boxing Social.
Thank you.